Have you ever heard a story that just completely changes how you look at things? Well, today we're going to dive into a classic parable about an award-winning farmer whose secret to success seems to fly in the face of everything we think we know about competition. It's a really simple idea, but trust me, it might just shift how you think about success itself.
So let's set the scene. Imagine a farmer, right? And this farmer grows such amazing wheat that he wins the top prize at the state fair, not just once, but every single year. Now that kind of consistency is incredible. And pretty soon, reporters start showing up at his farm, dying to know how he does it.
And this is the question on everyone's mind. In a world where we're all looking for that secret hack, that competitive edge, what could this farmer possibly be doing that puts him so far ahead of everybody else year after year?
Okay, so this is where the story gets really good. The reporters, they've got their notebooks out, they're ready to write down some complex formula about a new fertilizer or a high-tech irrigation system. But the farmer's answer, it's something absolutely none of them saw coming. He just looks at them and says, "I share my best seeds with all my neighbors." Just let that sink in for a second. The very thing that makes his wheat the absolute best, he gives it away to everyone for free.
Which of course leads to the question we're all thinking right now. But won't they just compete with you? I mean, if you give your best stuff, your secret sauce, to your rivals, aren't you just setting yourself up to lose? It feels like it goes against every business instinct we've ever been taught. But the farmer doesn't even flinch. He just kind of smiles. See, his strategy isn't based on some pie-in-the-sky idea. Nope. It's based on a deep, practical understanding of how nature and his wheat fields actually work. Let's unpack the genius behind his logic.
So the key to his whole philosophy boils down to one word: cross-pollination. He explains that the wind, it doesn't care about fences or property lines. It picks up pollen from his neighbor's fields and carries it right over to his. His farm isn't some isolated little island. It's all part of one big connected ecosystem.
And this lays it out perfectly. There are really only two ways this can go. On one hand, if his neighbors are growing cheap, inferior wheat, well, that low-quality pollen is going to drift over and drag down the quality of his crop. He can't avoid it. But if his neighbors are also planting top-tier seeds, the very seeds he gave them, then all that good pollen blowing onto his farm just makes his own harvest even better.
Which brings him to this incredibly powerful conclusion. His own success is directly, and I mean directly, tied to the success of everyone around him. If he wants to grow the best wheat for himself, he has to help his neighbors grow good wheat too. His own path to excellence actually runs right through his community's success.
But the wisdom here goes way beyond just pollen. The farmer explained that sharing his seeds created this amazing ripple effect of goodwill and teamwork. It built a stronger community that ended up benefiting everyone, especially him.
Think about it. Because he shared his best seeds, his neighbors started sharing back. He learned a better way to irrigate from one of them. Another gave him tips on organic fertilizers. And get this, when his well broke during a bad drought, a neighbor literally shared their water, which saved his entire crop. You can't put a price tag on that kind of support.
And this really gets to the heart of the story. The farmer's real strength wasn't just in his seeds, it was in his relationships. His ability to bounce back, his resilience, it came from being part of a strong, supportive network. He wasn't competing all by himself, he was thriving as part of a team. That was his real competitive advantage.
So, what does this simple story about a farmer have to do with us? Well, this parable holds a really profound lesson that stretches way beyond the farm, right into our careers, our businesses, and honestly, our lives. At its core, the farmer's story just shatters the idea that life is a zero-sum game. That flawed belief that for me to win, you have to lose. He proves that a grow-the-pie mindset, where you're focused on creating success for everyone, is a way more powerful and sustainable way to live. And that leads to maybe the most beautiful insight from the whole story. A single spotlight on one person, well, it eventually fades. But when you focus your energy on helping others shine, that collective light just illuminates everybody, including yourself. So ultimately, this whole story reframes what competition even means. Maybe the goal isn't to be better than the person standing next to you. Maybe the real competition is what the person you were yesterday. The whole focus shifts from beating others to just becoming a better version of yourself. And so this whole story leaves us with a question to really think about. In your life, in your job, in your community, what are your best seeds? What's that unique gift or knowledge you have? And where can you share it?
knowing that by helping others grow, you're also making sure that your own harvest will be that much richer.